TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us.
Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers.
Tiger Talk.
Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers.
Tough Tiger Talk.
Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers.
Tough Tiger Talk.
Go Tigers, go Tigers.
You're now listening to Tough Tiger Talk with Big Q and the guys on the Pro Media Network.
What's up, Tough Tiger Talk family? What's going on, man? We chiming in on this edition of Tough Tiger Talk live and direct. Much love to the fam. Appreciate y'all joining us for this installment. Myles Brennan suffers arm injury, which will require surgery, man. Of course, we knew that going into the season that this was not going to be Myles Brennan's show. A lot of people kind of thought it was, but this even confirms even more so that Max Johnson has the glow, especially when it concerns LSU's offense. So with that being said, I'm Big Q coming into this episode of Tough Tiger Talk. Big ups to the family members. Please feel free to hit upon the subscribe button and join the Tough Tiger Talk family today. Also hit the like button and feel free to share this stream with other LSU football family members as we look to build up this platform. So with that being said, I'd like to bring in my co-host, Uncle Mozzy, to the fray. Uncle Mozzy, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. And of course, it's Tough Tiger Talk on a Tuesday. We doing this stream because of conflict issues with our weekend stream as we move forward, but we'll probably slide back to our regular time frame coming up next Saturday. So with that being said, coming into this one, Uncle Mozzy, a lot going on in LSU, man, especially dealing with the fact that Brennan suffers an arm injury, which will require surgery. Timeline on the return to field is to be determined, but the Tigers will now roll with Max Johnson at quarterback. Of course, we knew and talked about this, man, is provided from LSU Country as they're dropping the science. It's Ed Orgeron, Coach O, announced on Monday that the quarterback, Myles Brennan, has suffered a left arm injury that requires surgery, according to Brody Miller of The Athletic. The injury is described as a fractured humerus in the left arm. Timetable on his return has yet to be provided, but the Tigers will likely now move forward with Max Johnson to start the season. So this is kind of another bad bit of news for Brennan, who was dealing with injuries last year, and now that he's out of the picture for the foreseeable future, what are your thoughts on this, Uncle Myles? I know you want to add to it with him with no timeline, but we knew that this was probably going to be Max Johnson's job anyway.
Yeah, I mean, just the road just got a lot easier for Coach O because that's one less head he has to bust going forward in the next couple of weeks. Which, I mean, we already we touched on it. We talked about it in great specificity that we all felt that that it'd be Old Man Johnson's show, OMJ. So we had already kind of written Brennan off, but I mean, at some point, Coach O was going to have to actually make that decision and send him his walking papers, or give him the little the cards that they hold up on the sideline. Yeah, that's definitely going to be him. He got a fresh headset. He's right by Coach O, but at least Coach O doesn't have to do that. We can put that behind us, and we can focus on actually moving forward and opening the season up with Old Man Johnson against UCLA.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to say the least. Well, I kind of picked Max Johnson to be the guy that comes out with the job anyway. But the injury left LSU with just two scholarship quarterbacks. That's Johnson and freshman Garrett Nussmeier. When preseason practice starts Friday, now Nussmeier will become LSU's primary backup, while freshman walk-on Matt O'Dood gets elevated to the third-string position. That's what Coach O broke down. So another with it's one of those things where Brennan unavailable. Johnson will receive the majority of the first team reps during practice at LSU, prepares him to start, giving the new offense coordinator Jake Peets an entire preseason to mold the playbook just around him. This could be something that was pretty good. And of course, Johnson impressed at times last season. In his first start, he led LSU to an upset over number 6 Florida on the road. Then he directed a tight win against Ole Miss. He flashed some quick mental processing and poise overall with almost a 59% passes for completing of his passes for almost 1,100 yards with 8 touchdowns and just 1 interception. Now they consider him more of like a dual threat quarterback. He also gained 19 yards and scored twice on the ground for LSU. He had wheels and he can throw the damn thing. So he'll have an opportunity to kind of take over LSU's offense moving forward. I actually, this is just a bad bit of news for Myles Brennan, who just can't seem to catch a break. Last year he was ultimately hurt. And then when he was in there, the offense flittered and it didn't look good. He looked half dead. His personage, his character type is a bit of a kind of a cool, calm guy. He's, a little too mellow for my taste. And of course, the offense just didn't look like it was worth jack with him in there. So Coach O making a move to get away from Myles Brennan with the injury and go to Max Johnson. And I think this will probably work with Johnson's style of play, even though I picked him to be the guy that we'd be looking at going forward. So with that being said, let's look at the depth chart of what it's supposed to look like moving ahead against, with the LSU Tiger and what the Tigers and what the preseason looks like by position that's provided by the Advocate. And you look at it, says LSU Tigers approach this year, a new season, perhaps the last for a 14-game Southeastern Conference before Texas and Oklahoma arrive, by trying to recreate the past, the offense of 2019, a defense that was LSU's bedrock from the Chinese Bandits to the Honey Badger. This week, the Tigers begin preseason camp trying to put together the pieces to rise again. Here, we take a position by position look at where the Tigers stand entering camp. Of course, Brennan's out the way as a senior, so Max Johnson, the sophomore, steps up. And we covered this and talked about this just a few minutes ago. Of course, you look at the running back situation with TD Price there, and then John Emery Jr. A lot of people think John Emery takes that top position as you see the rest of the running backs there. Good bit of the news as the camp veterans. TD Price has 446 yards rushing in 2020. Emery 378 have not been bad, just not great. It's time for them to shine. Coach O's, if not, the door opens for freshmen Kiner and Goodwin, a pair of 4-star prospects. Wide receivers are good as well. As you see, some of the top in the state is Keyshawn Butte is the top in that bunch. But there are other really interesting guys like Jontre Kirkland, Aljare Jenkins, Devonta Lee, and a few others, Trey Palmer, and there's a lot of other really good ones. Corey Moore and others are pretty good in that situation. Butte became the man with his SEC record of 308 yards receiving against Ole Miss. He needs help. Though in 4 and 5 wide receiver sets, veterans like Palmer, Jenkins, Moore need breakout season, as does someone from a highly touted freshman class. Of course, the tight end position, someone we had last year stepped out. So somebody from this group is going to have to step up and do some stuff, whether it's Cole Taylor, Jack Beck, or a few of the rest of these guys, Nick Storrs. These guys are going to have to step up and help out in the tight end room. And of course, we know about the center with Leah Shanahan there. As you can see, of course, the guards are Hines and Ingram and a few others, Bradford. And then the tackles, you see Cam Wire there replacing in Dellinger, and the rest of these guys going to have to step up and do what they're supposed to do. And of course, the defensive line. I'm really big on the defensive line, as you can see entering camp. And now looking at defensive line, Andre Anthony, Neil Farrell, Ali Gay, Glenn Logan. They're stout, not to mention guys like Mason Smith. I mean, this, and then of course that's Coach O's side of the field. That's Andre Carter that's there helping these guys out as well. So before we jump to the defensive side, I already did defensive line. Uncle Myles, I want you to chime in on your thoughts on the looking at the these LSU's offense led by Max Johnson there, and of course Emery and TD Price as your running backs, Butte, perhaps Kirkland, Palmer, Coy Moore, and a few other ones that step up in the tight end situation. Offensive line depth as well. How do you see the offense?
I mean, it's really going to be dependent on the run game. I mean, Emery's going to have to get going so that we can make Old Man Johnson feel as comfortable as he possibly can in the pocket. He does like to sling it. He's not going to be a run first quarterback. He's definitely going to look to pass first. So that game will not get set up without establishing a dominant run game. And at the end of the day, not only do we need Emory to be hot and get his feet moving, but we need those front five guys to move some people. And if we can do that, get him to move some people, Emory's picking up 3-4 yards a carry. I think it's going to be paramount. He pick up between 3.5 and 4.5 yards a carry. First down is non-negotiable, 4 yards. He's got to average 4 yards every first down. I think if we can do that, I think Old Man Johnson gets a lot of needed reps and experience, and I think we can begin taking it from there. But it all starts with what we put up in the Rose Bowl here in a few weeks.
Yeah, running the ball, Uncle Mozzy being paramount to help that offense, and of course the recreation of Joe Brady's offense back to LSU has a lot of the offensive side of the ball salivating. Okay, going to the defensive side of the ball now. We just talked about the defensive line as well. Linebackers, Mika Bakerfield, Damone Clark, and of course you got guys there like Mike Jones, Devonta Q Strong, Mike Jones. And of course, that's the strong side of the defense this year, man, picking up some good transfers like Mike, who came over from Clemson, and a few other guys. Bakerfield has been on the squad as well. Really loving the LSU linebackers, and of course the cornerback situation with Derek Stingley Jr. and guys like him and Eli Ricks, and then you look at the backup cornerbacks, Cordell Flott and a few others. The cornerback situation looking strong, but a lot of questions at safety, according to a lot of the messages I'm hearing from people. Not really sure about the safety position, but Todd Harris, who's a senior, could be there. Major Burns is another guy that they're sticking up there as well. They challenge the camp. So, and Nickelback is another dude, Cordell Flott, and all that. See how they go. So let's look at it like this. Let's take a look at the defense. How the defense look to Uncle Mozzy. I know secondary-wise, I like what we're working with. A lot of people are kind of leery about the safety play for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I think we're strong all over. What do you think?
Well, the secondary is definitely going to give us an opportunity to go at a lot of one-on-one coverages on the outsides, which in any football school of thought or train of thought, that tells the defensive line and the linebackers they can pretty much pin their ears back and they can go for what they know, put a lot of rushes and hurries on the quarterback, might even bring him down a time or two. And that all starts with that good cornerback play. In essence, it would be a lot of coverage sacks, hopefully. And I'm just not too sold on how we're going to stop the run. I'm not too sure, because I mean, we got ran on last year a lot more than what I would have liked. So for me, I just got to make sure over those first 2 or 3 games that we work out all the cobwebs as far as being able to stop the run. But I think when blitz packages are dialed up, and that's another thing, are we going to dial up exotic blitzes because we don't think we can get beat deep? Even with the lackluster safety play, I think that they're basically just mirroring the safety play or comparing the safety play against the cornerback play. So, obviously your corners are out of sight. So if you're trying to compare your safety to the corners and come up with an overall grade for the secondary, the safety would be the weak spot. But I think that our corners do just as good a job. I think we could probably bring a safety up and keep an extra guy hanging around there for any type of quick slants or any type of crossing patterns, middle of the field type stuff that may be out of the pay grade of a linebacker. Or we could just send a linebacker in just to crash or perhaps spy on whatever running back they have in the backfield. But I think we can mix up a lot of different things and give them a lot of different looks.
Yeah, that's the intriguing portion of it. And as you can see, we got on screen. We talked about the defense a lot. And of course, Coach O did say that the LSU Tiger defense will spend a lot of time in the 4-2-5 look on Kamazi. So two linebackers there and 4 defensive line, 5 DBs. So to kind of combat the spread offenses that they'll see in the SEC with teams like Ole Miss and others. So, I mean, do they have I feel that they have the personnel to be able to run that style of defense, to be fierce in the middle, to stop the run, have the defensive linebackers to be able to that can have the propensity to play the run and the pass, who can process plays, break down, and make a play on the ball. And, of course, the secondary is another thing with Michael Stingley, Eric Ricks. A lot of guys get an opportunity to step up and see what they can do. And a lot of question was asked about the slot position. Well, you got Cam Lewis and Cordell Flott and Sage Ryan there, who's a freshman. So a lot of people are interested to see exactly how well LSU do, because, we had those injuries last year where we didn't look good behind our two top guys. So I seen some improvement there in the depth of the secondary. What say you about that?
That one missing linebacker just worries me, especially when you start playing Auburn's and Arkansas's and Florida's in October and November when like your season is on the line. I'd like to have that extra body. And we are unfortunately in a conference where we don't deal with 175 pound, 180 pound running backs. A lot of these running backs 215, 220, running downhill 4.3s, so I just don't think that a safety would be, the strong enough presence to be a run stopper. I think the safety could slice in, possibly shoot some gaps on some delays, possibly running across traps or just coming up from the outside, maybe lining up in the slot on an all-out blitz. Who knows? I think that the safety be utilized that way. It maybe stop the run or rush the quarterback or kind of interrupt the play. But me, Alabama, Auburn, Florida, the bigger schools that rely heavy on the run, that linebacker for me, I like to have that third 250 pound body in the middle.
Yeah, you're not kidding on that. We'll see how it all moves and shakes. I think the defense will play well enough to be able to put pressure on the opposing offenses as well as do what they need to do to stop people from running the ball and one-dimensionalize our opponents, because that's a big part of it. LSU's offense will strike pretty well, and hope we can use the running attack to balance it and then move forward. So, I mean, it's going to be intriguing, man, to see a lot of questions surrounding LSU. And remember, not coming back with a lot of the same staff, a lot of new coaches, new defensive coordinators, which means new philosophy, more aggressiveness that lends itself to a Coach O style of defense. Secondary plan is going to be playing with a lot more confidence, hopefully with a better pass rush to go along with that. So, like I said, I think really proud or really happy about what LSU on defense looks, and really happy to see them going back to the Joe Brady offense that gave us so much success. That's really big to see if we can mimic that. That'll be the really big sticking point of the season moving ahead. So with that being said, Uncle Mozzy, let's talk commitments, man. Let's talk about some of the prospects. You have any prospect moves you want to talk about? LSU targeting 4-star defensive lineman Anthony Lucas, or how about Walker Howard? You got anything you want to
We're going to touch on Walker Howard just for a second anyway. We have been eyeing him for a while. He's a little bit younger guy, but we have actually gotten him. He's gonna commit, which is a good thing. I think that kid broke yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Was it? Yeah, it broke yesterday. So he is gonna commit. He's touted now as the number 2 prospect coming out of next year's class in the quarterback position. Obviously, he's got a whole season ahead of him now to enhance that ranking, but it really doesn't matter because was it he's a 4 or 5-star recruit, whatever he is, we already got him. He's already committed, so it'll be paramount that in building these classes, especially with some of these early commits, we got to make sure we win, because as you know, a losing season can change a lot. I am happy that he did consider us. I am glad that he is coming over for the 2023 season. As far as his quarterback play, he's a little small in stature. He's got kind of a Drew Brees-ish type build. I want to say he's 6 feet, maybe right at 195. But again, that's a high school student. Don't know how he'll come over in the college game, but I mean, it remains to be seen. He's from Texas. He's the number 2 recruit in the country in that quarterback position, and that says a lot because Texas, as we all know, is one of the big 3 football states. So if he can compete in the state of Texas, oddly enough, the same state Drew Brees played his high school ball in. If he can dominate Texas as he's doing, I think he'll have no problem dominating in the SEC.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. And of course, we looking at the QB commitments. Walker is a pretty good commitment, and that Coach O keeps moving on, man, and picking up recruits to add to get our first one for 2023. How about that with a Coach O? So with that being said, family, that'll be the show today. I'd like to thank all you guys for chiming in on this installment of Tough Tiger Talk. Myles Brennan suffers arm injury, will require surgery as Max Johnson era at LSU begins, and I'm really excited about it. It's really kind of sad about Myles Brennan because he's had a tough time last year getting hurt, this year getting hurt. Not a good look for him moving forward. So we'll see. Damon asked the question, is he eligible to return next year because of the injury? Uncle Mozzy, you going to shed some light on that?
I think he'll be eligible. I gotta actually check it. What year his eligibility is, but according to and we discovered this trying to figure out with Old Man Johnson, he's got 5 years of eligibility. He's got 5 years of eligibility from the first.
Yes, I do, Damon. Go ahead, Uncle Miles.
Oh, the first day he the first day he actually starts, so he could actually become a 5th-year senior and play. But again, you got to ask yourself, with all of the recruits that we're getting, we got a powerful recruit coming in 2022. We got one coming in 2023. We're looking for Old Man Johnson to have a pretty good year. So if you can come back, Myles, where do you fit in? And hey, I'm not him, but if this is me, I'm just saying he might want to go the JUCO route where he can kind of build his stats up and maybe enter the draft that way, because he's not going to get any playing time this year, obviously. And even if he comes back next year and has eligibility, I don't see a future for him at all in LSU. And because of what he put up last year, I can't even see him entering the trade portal, especially the transfer portal, especially now having a season-ending injury that's got to be operated on. So, I mean, it's just going to be a tough go. I just hope that he doesn't get too enthralled and on top of the situation. He thinks it out. He's a young kid. There are options. You've played on a pretty big level. There's only one stage higher than the one you played on, especially in the conference that you played in. So whether or not you can play football is not the question. Whether or not you can compete and play football at the highest level, that is the question. And I think that in order for him to prove himself, he may have to consider going the JUCO route, putting playing a year or so there, and then maybe get an invite or a walk-on to come walk on trial for a team later 25, 26, 27 after he has recovered from injury, put up a few stats in a JUCO league. He might be able to enter the draft at 25, 26 and walk on to it, for another team. And you never know. But I mean, he's got to focus on him now and getting better. And once he does that, he's going to have to get out of there, and he's going to have to try to go somewhere else if football is something that he wants to continue to play.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for Brennan, and it's no timeline currently right now on when he's due to come back off this injury. About that time, we hope Max Johnson's going to be well into the season with a rhythm. So I don't anticipate that. It's just a kind of bad luck for Myles Brennan. All right, with that being said, fam, please feel free to hit the like button, subscribe to the Tough Tiger Talk family. Right now, hit the subscribe button, and also feel free to share the links on your social media feed. We'll return again coming up Saturday morning. We'll do it for Saturday. We'll come back with some more Tough Tiger Talk topics, as well as open up the chat for family members with questions and let them chime in as well on the next installment of Tough Tiger Talk. It'll be a Saturday morning. So with that being said, I'm going to log out on that. Uncle Mozzy, my friend, appreciate you as always, and appreciate the rest of the family members for dropping by on Tough Tiger Talk.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us.